Hello 4Ks, this is day 23 of me playing chess every day until I reach the rapid rating of 2500. So here we go. We have a game and we have the white pieces against a lower rated opponent, which is not great, and we face the Caro-Kann Defense. D5 now the most logical move. And there are many options to play against the Caro-Kann, but I will play the very aggressive pawn to F3, commonly known as the fantasy Caro-Kann. And yes, the idea is to simply defend the e4 pawn and to have this massive white center here. And black has many ways of playing here. You can play e6 very solidly, or you can capture this pawn and then playing e5. There are also other moves like queen b6 or g6, but clearly my opponent is out of the theory. Maybe not out of the theory, but he simply doesn't know what to play. And we face g6. This is the first time facing this variation in our speedrun, kinda speedrun to 2500. Now knight c3, simply developing and protecting the e4 pawn at the same time. Bishop g7, very logical move. And if I am completely honest, I have zero idea what should I play here. But I believe bishop e3, queen b6 and a3 is the theory. Why? Because after takes there is knight a4 trapping the queen. Yes, bishop e3 now. This is the main line actually. Now I do remember e6 or queen b6 is a move. Okay, e6 played, and my idea is to play queen d2 and simply castle along, excuse me. Here queen b6 doesn't matter because I simply castle. If takes, the pawn is defended. Yes, queen d2 with an idea to trade off these bishops and playing h4, h5, opening up this king that will usually go to king side. And yes, my idea is to castle long here, develop this bishop maybe to d3, maybe to e2, maybe this knight will go like this, maybe it will go like this, excuse me, to g3. And now my idea is, yes, to castle, but my opponent is now thinking, and he will usually develop to e7 this knight, maybe to f6, but then blocking the bishop, which is kinda bad. And yes, I mean, he is sort of passive, but he is playing against my light square bishop on f1, putting all the pawns on the light squares. And yes, we are getting increment every single move. We get 10 seconds, but this doesn't mean time scrambles will be much easier. They will still be very hard to play, so putting pressure on the clock is an important factor as well. So probably knight d7 or knight e7 can be played. There is queen b6 that does absolutely nothing because I simply castle. Maybe a5, a4 and a3 is an idea, but I can always, after something like a5, I can just develop the bishop like this. I can start my own attack. This is probably the most flexible way of playing. Or I can simply castle long and after a5, a4, maybe to play a3, b5, I mean. You are just weakening up too many things on the queen side like this. So my opponent needs to develop right now, but he's thinking in which way. Okay, knight e7 played, very logical move. And his idea is probably to castle short now, so h4 looks real nice after takes, f5, e5. I mean, just bishop h6 there, so he has just h4. But I have enough time, let me think. h4, I can castle long as well. But I mean, I want to be flexible, and h4, h5 is always an idea, even if, let's say, this king castles long, which is very bad because of this bishop, but anyway. So, h4, yes, h4, very typical idea here. Now, I believe h6 is the correct move, h6, but then I simply castle, and my opponent cannot castle after h6 because the pawn is simply loose on h6. So, I mean, there are some ideas for my opponent, but I mean, castling into it looks kinda bad. I have 1, 2, 3 pieces attacking this king in the near future, excuse me, and this pawn, and this might be very dangerous. And b5 played on the board. b5 on the board. This looks... I mean, I'm not sure how to say it, but this looks like a big mistake. Why? I'm not sure yet. But I mean, b4, I can always go to e2 back, and the pawn is simply too weak on b4, and my king has not castled yet, so h5, b4, knight e2. What can you play? You can't castle. I will threaten to play h6, and here, I mean, taking here I don't think is the best, because after takes, I don't think this is too good. There are some ideas like taking with the bishop and then playing here and trying to fork my opponent, but this looks way too fun for me. Yes, maybe, I mean, a3 stops before, but why? He will simply play a5. This still can be played then. I mean, you cannot put your bishop here, it is too passive, so... Should I allow the move pawn to b4 is the crucial question. Even if I do allow b4, what then? a5? And a4 can be played, so... And my knight wants to go here, so yes, h5. I mean, yes, b4 is an idea, but I will play knight e2, knight f4 maybe, sack the knight somehow. This knight will go to g3, maybe this knight will go to g3, like this, and then this to h3. I have all the fun in the position, and queen to h5. I mean... What is this? I kinda wanna castle. But I guess this loses the a2 pawn because of b4. I mean, I have a positional advantage as well because of h6 right away. I can try to take here and then close up everything. If b4, knight e2 and knight f4, yeah, just take. Just take. And we are around on the clock for a bit. But you need to take with the knight. No, you take with the h-pawn. Oh man, this is a bold move. Wait, what? What about like bishop h6? Takes. My queen is infiltrating b4, I guess. I guess b4 is saving my opponent, but then bishop d2 takes. No, there is no. Yes, I will just play bishop h6. If takes, then I take. I mean, takes is kind of forced, and then b4, knight d1 here. Oh, there is no bishop to return. Yikes. And then simply... I don't like this. But should I respond to b4 actually? I mean, what about just trading and... I mean, we have the time. Let's... Here and then maybe... Wait, there are a lot of tactics in the position, like bishop takes here at some point. Or knight takes. Knight takes looks good, but... It doesn't work yet. I mean, a3 does absolutely nothing after takes, because he can still play b4, I cannot take. Oh, but then he is pinned. So let me take. And after takes, I will play a3. b4, knight a2. Pinning and winning, as they say. a3. Although it looks like a mistake because of before, I have knight a2 and it is pinned. The pawn is pinned. Also, my pawn is pinned here, but I'm kinda threatening b4 actually. Just closing down everything here. Which should be beneficial for me. I play e5. I play bishop f6 maybe. Trading off even. Why not? I mean, this bishop is a dead piece after e5. e5, f6, I don't believe this. And even if I trade off bishops, I mean, look at this bishop on d3, pressuring this weak pawn in the future. This looks nice for me. There is still a lot of counterplay for my opponent actually. But I think we can handle this one. I mean, my opponent will need to castle at some point, I guess. If they don't, I mean, your king is still in the center. I have a lot of pieces to attack your king with. And if b4 doesn't work, what do? You play e5. This seems like it loses. What about b4? Have you even thought about b5 before? b4 queen b6 I take, attacking the queen. b4 queen c7 I take. If queen takes, I can play knight e2 then. Yes. What about takes? Takes and b4 then. Wow, this is better version actually. Queen c7 forced. Here. I guess you can take... No, you can't take with the knight. Because I attack your queen. Takes. If here, I can even take like this, but... Before, I guess there is check. But just before. Here I go here. Takes, takes. I guess he forks me. I guess I didn't see it. Oh, but I have there. Here. You go here. Wait, but you have zero counterplay after bishop f2. Just pre-moving? I don't believe your king is safe here. Queen d8, I play long castles. I play long castles. This pawn will be weak for the rest of the game. What about long castles? I will play it, I don't care. a5, there must be like something. I mean, it loses a pawn right away after a5 takes. And this king on e8 is much weaker than my king is on c1. I will go here, rook a1, knight e2, knight d4. Well, my arrows are very bad. There is no c5. There is no c5. Never. I mean, you can try to take here, but I guess, I mean, look at this king. Just look at it. And enjoy the moment. Check. No, this can't possibly work. If takes, I have check. If takes, I mean, what? I go takes, I guess. Or I can just go here. Takes here. I mean, this is not the best for me. But I have check here. Maybe. We will calculate, and I am up a pawn most definitely. Most definitely there is check. Okay, I don't care. What about just queen d2? A very gentle move. Queen d2. Trading queens should be beneficial for me, most definitely. Queen d2. I mean, I don't care. This is much better for me than I expected, actually. Takes, I mean, takes. Who is defending this pawn? Rook a1, king b2. I need to be slightly more careful. I guess I missed that my bishop is hanging on f1. So knight b1, knight takes. King b2, rook a4. No, rook a4 loses. I need to be careful. I can't allow this actually, so just take and knight b1. Yes, I missed rook a1, but still. King b2. This pawn will be weak here. I guess you can take with the knight. With the same... Oh no, but then there is bishop b5. Maybe my opponent will miss, excuse me, king... not king a1, rook a1 instead. But yes, I mean, my position is still nice. We'll fight on. Rook a1, king b1. You take firstly. Oh, that's... That's, I guess, okay. And I have check. Here. Here. I mean, what about rook takes? No, let's take like this. King b1, rook f1. Yes, I like this position from. Knight e7 only move. King e7 only move. What are you thinking about? And I like my position now. This blunders the game away. In 1 second he blundered the game. Just magnificent. Or maybe it doesn't actually blunders. I mean, he's so lucky this doesn't. Well, it loses. Anyway. So yes, this was a nice game. GG rook d8. Simple fork. Now you need to smash that subscribe button below. Thank you guys. He resigned. Well, I don't think this is resignable yet. Because you have here. I mean, yes, but rook f8. I saw this and after takes. I mean, this endgame. G4 only winning move, yes, I mean. Maybe I would have found it. I mean, it's logical, because it is. If I play anything else, it's just a draw now. So let's analyze the game. E4, C6, the Caro-Kann. This is still standard theory here. E6, I don't think... Oh, taking is the correct move instead of... I mean, queen b6 is an okay move, but taking as well is okay, yes. E6 a mistake after queen 2, knight e7. Bishop h6 right away, okay. But h4 as well, okay. h5. And takes... This was okay. a3, correct. Because if I take... if he plays b4, there is knight a2. And he cannot take because he loses. And here... if I take, I lose. Because the rook is hanging here on the A file, so the pawn is simply pinned. And A3, he played E5. And after B5, before now, he played check. King D1 was the best move. Just putting pressure on my opponent's seal. But I mean just bishop F2, why not? Queen C7 now. I castled long, which is not the best move. I should have taken the pawn. But I mean there are some checks which I was afraid of. So I simply castled here, putting my rook on the open D file, very important. And after A5, Queen D4 maybe was better. And here I thought wait, King takes is the correct move. Oh, this is so genius actually. Oh wow, this is genius. Because after King takes, if pawn takes pawn, then if knight takes, the pawn is hanging here. Bishop D7 I guess. And something like 92, 94, C3, king here. Pressure everything. And I am up a pawn. But I took with the rook, excuse me, and after A takes, and rook A1 was the correct move. Why? Because knight B1 then, and then simply takes. I calculated king B2. Rook A4 works? Oh my goodness, what? Oh, I guess because I cannot play king C3, I blunder. Yes, wow. But okay, this didn't happen. He played knight D4, knight D5 instead. I simply took, and after rook A1, king B2, he took. And now there is a very forcing line. Wait, what? Knight F6 is the only move. What is wrong with knight to C7? King E7, so what? Oh, rook F2 then. Rook F2, what about knight H3 now? Oh wow, takes. And takes. And I was losing for... But after king F8 here, this is just completely lost. After move rook D8, my opponent simply resigned. And I won 5 rating points. So guys, if you liked the video, please consider subscribing. It would really help me out. And see you tomorrow. Bye bye!